abusian for it is possible that I'm saying some because of media and so na say His Excellency the President of Ghana John Dramani Mahama e de nua Mr. Ibrahim Mahama private jet and a 82 to Kwan the plane and odi to Kwan na mum enya presidential jet no enchiremu aba na say Ghana ha ye presidential jet no problems kakra be munti mpanifo ehwe amoma siesie na ye kama sebe ya the president betimi e de to Kwan na some Ghana fo ebisa ne say private jet ya His Excellency o use ye ne nua de ano ne nua Mr. Ibrahim Mahama o de ache no ana say Ghana ebetua hoka plane na do to Kwan e kai wo plane wo nyare de ache na ana say de bi no Ghana ebetua hoka eno na Ghana for ebisa Esan say the tax code Act 2015 actually say the presidency is supposed to declare all gifts including the cost or decline it. And to say the actually be check Ghana and I said the Biba presidency said the better president. And also come Ghana for you not tears. Yeah, they kai one when you not to ja and will be aware and I said the consequence jokra. If you say a BSc pain on one first time, President John Dramani Mahama the first time, Yenya Bokina Babe contracted be or the air car ever check president. Or declare Ghana for your say air cost $100,000 near and send be brave bar and my mom forbid the court. Shiraj reported by HSA President Enya Bonibiana so Enya bribe and Yakatash said the Proebiana or a course name say ya or declare Nemo J card was adequacy baby also this see I say ya the better Ghana and dear. Say one bribe and I say dear way no entia Ghana mra eno bi na ye hwese president and declare me you say a gift kasa in the wom otu Kwan na kasa na ne nuan ebo ho and I say ye betu academy ye pese ye hu ka no ye mpese de esi na no no e besai esibio eno ne nsama Ghana for e bisa ye twen enchiremu afri the presidency
mbuafu se aden John Mahama e de ne nua private jet ne nam no omo no ho e ma hi yati Ghana akufuado odie enum Ghana ne kuno ni nua na busia ni bia ni bia so private jet na busia ni bia mo bra na busia ni bia ne private jet odie enum bia ana mi wiska on high private jet earlier taxpayers money e go dware o plane MPP ni bia na kasai wa high private jet last one e dware o plane the empower na John Mahama ni nua Ibrahim ne private jet we no ti enuma wo se wonti ase e ba de ono no tua $1 million eno de wantimi anya problem bia meka ho dan said the ono no mum na ni nua e wo private jet no se okay ma me ntopatru mu private jet na me mfa nante eno na e problem mwanya mu jimi a opposition mu be che ho foke because mo yes a didn't na kufuado at a private jet any problem but John Mahama at private jet there a problem
one say abujafo one say President Mahama asase ekoto oko thank you to okodeda mpanifo na amampanifo na bebe boa no man ye inauguration Naceee into asase fi Gambia and Senegal na me won say minuanum ni bi yanom fo na asase propaganda sa den na o tu kwan a in fact Joy News near me won so mu nyina ye bi any MPP for na sum sa den na Mahama tu kwan a odi ni nua Ibrahim Mahama aeroplane na ye Dzata flight na tu kwan anam na nkofu afidie be mpa na mosum President Mahama tichinchina mo pese papa no tiam na yi no president flight na sia on mampani de no akofado antenemu da wantenemu da no de odi free so mosi ade ne fort wo ho nti ade a fort wo ho susu ampa ase mo mosi fort wo ho Mahama ba 1 week no onko tenem ne nkoku no wo wie ma na ase nkwa ne de mo na mo kan mosi fort wo nti Mahama nko tenem ne nkoku no wo wie ana nkwa ne de President Mahama wo opposition Ninu flight a Dzata cement run Ibrahim Mahama flight na papa di tu kwan owo position enu ano di tu kwan oba power na ninu ana sa toka ma ne se on san fa sa aka ne ma ne ntena sa aka na akofo adomo agya gu woni mu eye mfidie nko ano masum no nti wo na wo nua ba ma mpani tika o mo ne ho bai wo be hwa ama ya anomfo ye kuna to atwene na anu MustaphaAfenyo Markin NDC Deputy General Secretary osi Jubilee House wana na akofo adoti no omakwa koye thorough search ewo ho over 49 hidden cameras in kitchen they hide and when they actually jubilee house or President Mahama office wo say the beya Mahama kotena say o ye meeting and as o di nkomo bia na ni na akwa kogu ntimi mu nsem that is somebody aba beto abonti no mabu papa na nimu ase Mustapha for you bandi na kasa ase and nothing up to now President Mahama ntimi nko jubilee house wo na oda so ye adwuma from ono ane office no infidi amasunsun ne papa ne doso adai kasi ya muja owe akufo ado ba akona ado akonwa na tum ba akonso do pampers ne onyoma na gum ni ade ni na amaje agutubla mo pese Mahama nkotena sa aka ni mu anaso ye de oso wompe ni nua ne so wato bia ma no ontwe no so so amosi boy ayo taxpayers money no de toy wabaji musika waye budget mpo Mahama ba onye budget on this kaka prempo mfi aban on the first pay kronye nti nipa ne nam ne baabi na so de nua plane ne nam na de nua car otoma no no nam eno so mummuni ya kum mati kwa pai akufo do ne de 17,000 euros and per hour and the flight man per hour or 2.8 hours and multiply ade
abusuan yanto abama John Mahama san ne nua Ibrahim Mahama private jet no di ba be di awrisi abusuan so wonya nte ya ma me ma onkyere mu John Dramani Mahama yato abama on 7 December 7 January oswari in ebabeye president for the Republic of Ghana no abuzian yeso wo tu kwan ko ba bia wade Ibrahim Mahama private jet Dzata private jet na de tu kwan wa bra Ghana government ewo private jet wo no no wonyusu e no abuzian de wonam si da bi I shouldn't jump into conclusion mento me boase na menya hwehwemu abuzian san yese John Dramani Mahama before the elections of 2024 no na okwa pro aye ne campaign na odi Dzata private jet ya na ekọ abuzian nti obabedi ade no and otro de come Ghana Armed Forces for say he being the leader for the Ghana Armed Forces no omo hwehwem sa plane no for the Ghana government no sa private jet no mo hwehwem say you safe for na kwantu abuzian besine Ghana Armed Forces nyama ni feedback eno na ma John Mahama da so use ni nua Ibrahim Mahama private jet Dzata private jet na abuzian na could you believe say sa private jet ye wo use no for free you won't ya dime Ghana ntua dime for Ibrahim Mahama abuzian umpe we upeden propaganda nti Ghana ntimi nkoso da abuzian ye wo ha na ano ena na nado dan kwakofo ado ne se wa broni kofa German owned private jet na per hour bi otua $3,000 per hour otena mu for days ono oba ne mpena dware jacuzzi e wo wiema no ye huhu asemanka we yi use ni nua de for free no ni nua de for free yasan ye Ghana ni de for free propaganda nti ane me MPP ni nti akofa ne yabani amenka ena ye de Mahama nti abuzian bohu jimie sa na ade asa abuzian kire wadwen wo san nsem we hu na fa nsabo plus sign so follow me wawie afi ba akoma no so like the video no na follow me.
I mean, first of all, I'm completely astonished. I'm completely, to use the big word, flabbergasted at just the fact that the very people who justified the abandonment of the presidential jet for other flights are the people who are leading this onslaught on President John Dramani Mahama. One of them actually told Parliament that the leg room in the presidential jet was not convenient for President Nana Yaa Fans. Leg room. Now, look at President Nana Yaa Fans and look at President John Dramani Mahama. Now, if Nana Yaa Fans is complaining about leg room, what should President Mahama complain about? Leg room. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. What is this? Look at the two personalities. That Nana Yaa Fans did not have enough leg room. He couldn't stretch his legs. So if Nana Yaa Fans could not stretch his legs in the presidential jet, how on earth can President Mahama stretch his legs in the same presidential jet, given their height, their size, and everything? Unbelievable. Now listen, note the difference. President Nana Yaa Fans decided to go with rented private jets at cost to the states. Okay? President John Dramani Mahama decides to go with 3 private jets, no cost to the state at all, no cost to the state. Compare the two. Maza, compare the two. So there's a clear difference. And then the argument is made that President Akufo-Addo would not have used his brother's private jet. Which of his brothers has a private jet? Maza, why are we creating phantoms? Which of his brothers has a private jet? In any case, one of the issues which have been raised is a security issue. And I believe that it's a legitimate security concern. We are told that in the few days of the attempt to sweep the presidency, Alhaji Nusa Hussaini should know better than me. He says that 700 hidden cameras were discovered. My information is that 78 hidden cameras were discovered. But whatever it is, 778, even if one hidden camera was discovered, that's a matter for concern. You understand? So there's a new president. All the facilities that he has to use need to be swept. And by swept, need to be cleaned of all, unwanted devices and so on. And this is not just a Ghanaian problem. Everywhere in the world. I mean, Donald Trump has just assumed office as president of the United States of America. Every facility, every presidential facility will be swept before he enters. It may well be that because of their technological advancement and so on, it will be quicker. But the principle of sweeping facilities before presidents use them is a principle which is universal. Now, if in sweeping the Flagstaff House, they've come across hidden cameras, why wouldn't they sweep the presidential jet? Why would they not sweep the presidential jet? And then there's my friend, Dominic Nitiwu, who says that the presidential jet is in a state fit to be flown. Who would assume office as president and take the word of the government he has just defeated, or activists of the government he has just defeated, on his security? Which president would be so naive and stupid to the extent that you come into office and say that, look, for my security, I'm going to go to the former defense minister or the former minister of national security. I'll take the assurances seriously. Which president would ever do that? To the extent that is possible, you understand? To the extent that is possible, I will go along with my brother Elvis Bota, that the president at all times, where there are state facilities, should use state facilities instead of private facilities at all times. To the extent that it's possible. Because you don't expect to do impossible things. So to the extent that it is possible, you must use state facilities instead of private facilities. But we must know that the president, whether we like it or not, has a certain duality. The fact that he has become president does not take away his private part. There are things about the president which are private.
His private part. Oh, okay. His private. Well, maybe
The president is a private citizen in some sense, and at the same time, he's public in another sense. Okay? There are things about the president which, in spite of the fact that he's president, will remain private forever. The relationship between the president and his brother Ibrahim Mahama is not a public matter, it's a private matter. You understand? Even to a very large extent, the relationship between him and his wife It's a private matter. And so on. I mean, so there are private aspects of the president's life and there are public aspects of the president's life. We should not confuse the two. And in fact, the president himself ought to help us make that distinction. And that is why I'm going to say something, that is why the role of his family, his children, and so on, in his official functions should be deliberately limited in order to preserve his privacy. You understand? If family begins to intrude in public affairs, the line between his privacy and his official rule is blurred, and the president ought to be careful about that. It's very, very important. We are told that he flew commercial on this flight. So even the question of his brother's jet does not come in at all. The question of his brother's jet came in much earlier, and it was explained. I am satisfied with the explanation. You understand? Now, we should understand that his brother Ibrahim Mahama is not from Mongolia. He's also a citizen of Ghana. And if we insist that Ghanaians, all Ghanaians, have a right to contribute to the national development effort and so on, the president's brothers also have rights to contribute to the national development effort. Now, if individual Ghanaians can make donations to public schools, can make contributions to the national kitty and so on, why should we exclude Ibrahim Mahama? Do we exclude Ibrahim Mahama simply because he's the brother to the president? That's unfair to him. Completely unfair to him. And I have persistently made this point about the fact that I don't care. I really don't care. This issue of family and friends which has been raised in the past, have you ever heard me raise it? I don't care. The most important thing is that, are they qualified? And by qualification, I mean academic qualification, I mean experience, I mean entitlement, I mean all the things that go into making up what is qualification. You understand? So today, if for example we are awarding a contract, and engineers and planners which belong to Ibrahim Mahama bids, and they provide us with the best bid, are we going to say that simply because he's a brother to the president he's not going to get a contract? It would not make sense. He's a citizen of Ghana. You understand? So my point is that when these issues arise, I think that we should end the political, point scoring and look at the issues dispassionately. You understand? I know of a president who actually traveled, in economy. He didn't travel in business class. He didn't travel in first class. I know of a president who traveled in economy. Check, you would find. I know of a country in which the president had his brother, twin brother, not just brother, as prime minister. And there was no problem, and so on. So we need to go beyond the formal relationships and so on. And then also I know of a country in which two brothers, a neighboring country in which two brothers are struggling for power, competing for power. And two brothers, and it becomes deadly. And one of them was actually arrested and imprisoned. Yes. His brother arrested another brother who was competing with him and put him in prison. I know of countries in which the president's brother is the leader of the opposition and so on. So please, let us be sober, in the discussion of these matters. And for those who claim that President Akufo-Addo did not have enough leg room in the presidential jet, they should obviously know that if Akufo-Addo did not have enough leg room, Mahama would also not have enough leg room. For those who claim that the president needed to take his bath, in the air, and that the presidential jet had no facilities for taking baths and so on, they should know that, if Akufo-Addo needed to bath, perhaps John Mahama also needs to bath and so on. I mean, I condemned, the extravagant, hiring of private jets, and I would not want to see Mahama hiring private jets. But people should be principled, and being principled is being consistent also.